Is it racist for white people to shoot black zombies? Of course it is. It's 2021, where everything is considered a hate crime, where terrorists are religious scholars and violent mobs are just mostly peaceful protesters. But life wasn't always like this. Remember back in 2004, when nobody gave a damn that Leon was slaughtering Mexicans at the border? Well, all that changed in 2007 when Capcom dropped the first trailer for Resident Evil 5, reigniting discussions of racism all over the world. I guess some minorities are just more important than others. Luckily for us, this game didn't get canceled, and as a result, it brought about movements that led to some real change. Thanks, Capcom. So for today's challenge, Mr. T-Virus and I are going to prove just how anti-racist we are.
Shit! Get them guns out of my damn face.
Because Mr. T-Virus doesn't like being accused of appropriating black culture, and he doesn't appreciate people saying his accent is fake or offensive. First off, the T-Virus originated in Africa. Second, Mr. T-Virus is a tyrant. Who knows what ethnicity he even is? If he wants to identify as a black man creature, who are you to say that he can't? With that being said, we do not condone racism in any form, so in honor of Black History Month, we're going to be playing through Resident Evil 5 without committing a single hate crime. We will be giving the African American Africans preferential treatment, meaning we will not be routing anyone darker than this guy. The rules are simple. We'll be playing new saves on veteran, so no professional difficulty, money, or upgrades to start. In the event that we get overwhelmed, we will take Joe Biden's advice and corn pop them in the leg.
So instead of anybody coming at you, the first thing you do is shoot to kill, you shoot them in the leg.
If for any reason we do not succeed in our attempt to advance racial equity, if a mostly peaceful protester must be put down, my partner Sheva will take one for the team, with some black-on-black violence, but only as a last resort. If this occurs, the challenge is over, but we will finish the mission to find out just how racist this game actually is.
I have a job to do, and I'm gonna see it through.
To ensure the safety of the locals, we will not be upgrading firepower or critical hits. Purchases are allowed for use of non-lethal weapons and defense items. During the chase sequence, we will disable the trucks but not the passengers. As for the motorcycles, we will just have to endure and deflect the black attacks. For this video, we will be skipping over 80% of the boss fights, since every boss in this fight is a white person. Irving, Excella, Wesker, Jill, both are Ouroboros encounters. It was in fact this fact alone that got me thinking this challenge was possible. Oh, and one more thing. For this episode only, Mr. T-Virus will be voiced by special guest Dion Richmond.
I am the token black guy. I'm just supposed to smile, stay out of the conversation, and say things like, damn, shit, and that is whack.
Okay, let's begin.
Let's move.
Without a search warrant, we no-knock bust into this dude's abode, interrupting some sort of interracial spit roast. With the only person to kill fleeing the scene, we are left facing our first local. In hopes to avoid more riots, we de-escalate the situation by jumping headfirst out a second-story window. We arrive at the public assembly just in time to witness some Democrats holding a rally. Now here it's easy to get overwhelmed. I barricade the door and pop anyone that doesn't fit the description. Using the windows and rails to hop back and forth, I evade attacks and buy time until the big guy shows up. From here, we continue to run the clock. To avoid accidentally killing anyone, do not jump down ladders or shoot explosives. Kirk finally arrives, bringing some law and order, by letting everyone know he doesn't see color and doesn't discriminate. Thanks, Kirk. You've just ruined my hard work. From here, we serve up some police brutality to a white girl for once. I wouldn't call her boss, but like every boss in this game, she's white.
Wow, perceptive, aren't ya?
So far, this game isn't racist, it's just making a statement about colonialism, and these people are the victims. After this, we can finally start leapfrogging checkpoints. It's simple and game-breaking. Just sprint to the next checkpoint, die, rinse, repeat, and all the enemies will be gone, saving time, health, and unwanted kills. Oh yeah, and before I forget, we met some dogs in the sewer who were just as friendly as my own dog, and just like my dog, they didn't want to be put down. Moving on, we encounter our first real boss who isn't white, Dr. Chainsaw Guy. The only way to get past him is to get a key from him. Luckily for us, he doesn't have to die to give it up, so no hate crime here. Next up, we reach the mines. The trickiest part here is the gate. So to stay alive, I repeatedly equipped and unequipped the lantern until Sheva was done taking her time. Okay, that was not our fault. It's not murder if it's self-inflicted. And then we're up the cliffs without firing a single shot. And as we reach the top, this guy died from driving too hard.
Shit!
Skip over the fight, we cap the bat in time to hitch a ride with Dave. From here on is where the challenging part of this challenge begins. But first, a few things I need to point out. If anyone out there feels like attempting this challenge, you need a real-life partner. Sheva doesn't give two shits about her own people and will murder everyone in sight.
These are my people that are dying here.
Are you sure about this?
Also, before you get really pissed off at your friend and possibly say things about them you wish you could take back, know this. The enemy skins that your friend sees are not the same skins that you will see. Many times I witnessed my friend utterly fail this challenge until we figured this out.
That is whack.
With this in mind, Sheva must only be tasked with deflecting attacks or disabling trucks, unless you're playing split screen. And speaking of trucks, this game randomizes the enemies with every continue, so with a little bit of luck, you could be dealt a truck full of kills. Same goes for the roadblock. Initially, I thought this would end the challenge here, but thankfully it's right at a checkpoint where you can die over and over until the right opportunity presents itself. In our case, these dudes were at a safe enough distance and showed no signs of dying or being hit. Yeah, I know, there were no bodies seen in the cutscene, but I didn't see them dying either, and I didn't feel like waiting for an all-white cycle.
Look out!
Now, fighting El Gigante, or whatever they call him in Africa, is a juggling act. We basically had to ace this fight without taking any damage from the Gigante. This left us with enough health to survive the light attacks from the minorities. I shot down every Molotov I could without injuring this guy, and yes, this guy isn't black, so it's okay that I killed him. Had me going for a second there though. And as for the Gigante himself, if he were black, he would have a bigger Gigante if you know what I mean. And then we're off in the airboat, until we're trapped by this Majini holding up this gate. Normally you'd just kill this guy and move on, but we needed to find an alternative way, because stun grenades and limb shots weren't cutting it. It was at this point I was about to throw in the towel.
Damn!
When I discovered from a fellow YouTuber named Dainty Ravioli, if you just wait long enough, the guy will get bored and eventually give up. With the mission back on, we made our way to the oil field.
A second ago, you were ready to cut and run.
Is that a black screen? We dodged some Doctors Without Borders, rendezvoused with Josh, and got trapped in this room while Josh took his sweet-ass time hacking the mainframe. I kneecapped and stomped everyone I could, checking their privilege until we took the fight upstairs. Also, I love the fact that this guy took the elevator to get to us. Up here, we have to make sure to keep the fight away from Josh. One little interruption, and he'll straight up ditch your ass.
Why did you not retreat? I mean, we are no match for them.
Oh my god, yes!
I was doing expert item grabbing. So we ditched Josh in return, defeat the greatest Resident Evil villain since Steve.
All your answers away to hit Chris in that cave.
He points us to the Temple of Doom, which ends up being more like the Temple of Dumb. Every time we grab a piece, one person stays behind and hits this, we get a checkpoint.
Checkpoint!
Yes, yes.
Checkpoint.
Okay, I'm going to the thing.
Did you get a checkpoint?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, cool.
With the checkpoint system being so broken here, we bypass everything without incident. This is so much easier than how we used to play it. Next, we took a break to look for some liquor genitals.
Wait.
Taking this time to gear up,
Now we are actually going to have to use ammo.
because all enemies from this point on are packing heat, and they're pretty much off limits.
Oh yeah, they just fucking run past these bitches.
Oh my god. Holy shit. This area would be near impossible if it wasn't for the grenade launcher flash round combo, and even though I was flashing these dudes left and right, it was still somewhat of a challenge.
Go. Pull it. Oh, checkpoint. We're good.
So there's not going to be anything here. Oh, dude, easy peasy.
I expected more of a challenge after all this time.
After taking out my frustration on Wesker, I got to second base with Jill.
Nice view of the bus from behind.
And I gotta say, I don't blame Chris for leaving her to be with Sheva. Just look at what Wesker did to that cleave. Carlos, you can have her.
Damn! Shit, that is whack!
And that brings us to the big boat.
This is huge.
where one of us has to get locked in a cage, and the only way out is to kill these guys we aren't supposed to kill for a key card. Now I know I had my doubts about completing this challenge before, but this time, I really doubted it. There is nothing around for these guys to accidentally kill themselves with, no distance to run or time to waste until they vanish. This time, I almost gave up. I almost pulled the trigger. But then, for no real reason at all, I started playing with this button. Not to crush them, because that would be murder. I started pushing it because we were out of options. I was hoping something would happen, like a glitch or something, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happened. My guess is, with no real way for the enemy to reach either of us, the enemies just started disappearing, leaving behind items and spawning new enemies with real grenades, to kill themselves with. Now, I've never heard of anyone using this button technique, and as far as I know, this is a Mr. T-Virus original discovery. Hopefully this discovery can help others with their kill limit challenges. So with help from some friendly fire, we were able to get that keycard, only to be stopped by another keycard, this time by a card-carrying Mini Majini. How could I forget about these guys? I guess, in the back of my mind, I was hoping there would be some sort of white skin variant or something we could cycle to, but no, these guys only come in the darkest of darks. All hope seemed lost. Again. This guy can't accidentally shoot the explosives, his grenades have no effect on him. It is possible for him to set off the explosives when he uses a grenade, but there aren't many of them around, and every time he did, it didn't faze him.
Oh, do it right out the fucking thing in your wall! Did that hurt him?
It didn't do anything. So after many attempts to find his weakness, we finally got our first break. He ignited these gas cans and walked right into the fire, like the big dumb idiot he is. Now this is hardly a victory, but it's a start. This told us he can injure himself, so Sheva and I got to work. We equipped the stun rods to humanely beat the ever-living shit out of him, keeping count of every hit, taking 67 hits in total to kill this guy. So the plan now is to strike him 66 times and get him to walk into that fire, the fire that only burns for about 5 seconds. And this went about as well as the first time trying to get him to do this, but 66 hits later, and he actually stepped into the fire. But to our disappointment, he was still standing. Refusing to give up, I quickly ran back to the only explosive canister to ever stun him. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. Let's rewind about an hour earlier. In the beginning of the fight, this happened. He gets stunned from a blast at a range that he shouldn't have been hit from. At first I thought this was just a glitch, something I couldn't recreate. Mini Majini had set off explosives at his own feet before, and nothing happened. So how did he take damage at this distance? With just one hit away from death, I remembered I was also affected in that blast. So as a last-ditch effort, with no recovery items or options left, I put myself in between him and the blast, hoping the damage I take would amplify the blast radius and I'd somehow survive in the process.
Oh shit! Holy shit! Oh my god!
Holy shit. We had done it. Mini Majini was dead by his own hands and his keycard was ours. Sheva saved me just in time to get the checkpoint and carry on.
So, you've made it this far.
Now after coming this far, at this late in the game, it seemed like nothing could stop us now. I felt like John McClane and Sheva was my Samuel L. Jackson. No matter how much this game tried to stop us, no matter how difficult the situation became, we would always find a way. This feeling was short-lived though. The next hangar has 2 card-carrying Mini Majinis and no explosives. And with that, we quickly gave up. Sheva's mom said it was his bedtime, so in a final act of self-defense, Sheva killed these 2 with an RPG, and we would have killed Wesker, but I accidentally let Sheva die.
Don't let your partner die again, Chris. That fucking face.
His shades are staying on.
And that hair is perfectly slicked back. Did you not do it?
I pulled it. So in total, excluding Sheva's death, the minimum number of African-Americans you have to rout in this game is 3. Yeah, 3. I forgot to mention, there's a card-carrying soldier just before the Excella fight. Anyway, thank you all for watching this challenge. Shout out to my friends Kyle and Tyler for almost helping me complete this challenge. If you'd like to see further proof of this attempt, I'll be uploading a separate video with just the gameplay portions. My next video is all about Chris Redfield, just in time for Resident Evil 8. You don't want to miss it. It'll have you questioning everything you think you know about Resident Evil.
Shit!